Okay, so this is the Kaffe stainless steel French press coffee maker. You can currently get this on Amazon for about $35. The main highlight of this coffee maker is it's going to be a stainless steel design with double wall insulation, which will keep your coffee much warmer for much longer. Additionally, it's a little bit confusing, so we'll have to clarify. The box says it's 27 ounces, but the Amazon listing says it's 34 ounces. I'll double check throughout this video. If it is 27 ounces, the overall capacity will be 0.8 liters. Meanwhile, if it is 34 ounces, it'll be 1 liter. And then the other highlight of this is it has a lifetime warranty, so if you have any issues with it, you can get it replaced through the company. But we'll go over the box real quick. Says Kaffe, French press, it's stainless steel, shows an image of what it looks like on the packaging. It does say it's 27 ounces or 6 cups. On the side here, it does walk through the instructions of how to make French press coffee, but I'll walk through that throughout the video. But basically, you add ground coffee, add the water, let it sit for about 10 minutes or so, and then press it down for the French press, and that's how you make it, but we'll show you in detail. It does say that it's dishwasher safe, not for stove use. They recommend using coarse ground coffee, and then given it's hot, just handle it with care and don't use with children. That's at the top there. But that's it for the box, so we'll open up the box and show you what it actually looks like. Okay, so here's everything that comes in the box. You have the coffee maker itself. You have a filter, which we might have to attach, and I'll walk through that if we need to. And then it has an insert here saying that there's an extended 2-year warranty if you want to pursue that. And usually they do offer a 10% coupon off in each of their products. So those are the three main things that are in the actual package. Here's the actual coffee maker. So it's got a very nice sleek design. It's basically stainless steel with this very shiny finish across. Is very sturdy from that standpoint. It says Kaffe on the bottom here in black. The handle itself is a plastic construction, but it's well attached here, and then it's pretty good from that standpoint. And then the actual insert here. So this is how a French press coffee maker works. You're going to have a top lid that'll have a plunger with a filter on the bottom, and so basically when you brew the coffee, you'll press this down. It'll press all the grind down to the bottom, and then it'll leave your freshly brewed coffee at the top separate from the grounds. We'll walk through that process in a moment, but this is pretty good construction. Let's see if the filter comes off. So yeah, as anticipated, if you go counterclockwise on the top, you can undo the filter on the bottom, which helps when you're cleaning this, rinsing it off, if you get any debris and things like that. And they do highlight that this is a double level filter. So you have this finer mesh filter and then a coarser, larger filter on the top here, which will prevent the grinds from getting into the actual coffee better. But it's easy to get that on and off, basically screwed on and off very easily. It's very sturdy from that standpoint. And additionally, they do give you one separate filter, so if you have issues where the filter gets clogged, broken, anything like that with time, you do have a separate filter, so you can always replace it with that. But that's the main highlights of this. It does have a spout on the side for easy pouring. It is pretty robust there, so you won't spill it, which is nice compared to other ones I've seen. But that's the main highlights of this. Now what we'll do is we'll just walk through brewing French press coffee with this to get a sense of how it performs. Okay, so here's everything that I use when I make French press coffee. So we have my barista kettle for heating up the water. We'll have the Kaffe French press coffee maker for making the coffee. We have my AirScape canister, which holds all of my coffee in it. And then my Zassenhaus grinder for grinding the coffee. And then lastly, my Time War Black Mirror Plus coffee scale for weighing it out for the quantity of water as well as the quantity of coffee. So the first step that we'll do is we'll figure out the capacity of the Kaffe coffee maker and the quantity of water that's needed. So we'll basically just put this on the scale, tare it, get it down to 0, and then we'll just fill this up all the way to nearly to the top with water. And so we'll just do that real quick. Okay, so I filled it up almost to the top, but there's enough room that when you put the plunger in, you'll be able to still plunge the coffee down. as well as apply the grind. So that came out to 675 grams. So that's the quantity of water when you brew it, if you fill it up all the way to the top. So that's what we'll use for these purposes. Now what we'll do is we'll figure out how much coffee we need to brew for that quantity of water. So for the ratio of coffee to water that I usually use 12 to 1. And so what we'll do is we'll take the 675 and then divided by 12, and that gives you the quantity in grams of coffee that you'll need. So for brewing with this French press maker, we're going to use 56 grams of coffee when we're actually grinding. So what we'll do is we'll start heating up the water, and then we'll grind the coffee in the meantime. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll start grinding the coffee. What I usually do is I put the French press directly on here, tear it so it's down to 0, and then I'll start grinding the coffee in my Zassenhaus grinder. For French press coffee, you're going to want a coarser grind, so I'm going to lower this down to the lowest setting where it's much coarser rather than finer, which is what I usually use for pour over. And then basically we'll just grind up the coffee until we get to 56 grams on the actual scale with the French press maker on the scale. So we're at 57.3, which is slightly over, but I didn't want to waste extra. So we have that all ground up inside the actual coffee maker now. Now we'll wait till when the coffee is fully heated up, and then we'll start going through the brewing process. Okay, so now we'll start with the brewing process. So all the coffee grounds are in here. I have the scale down to 0 and tiered. Basically the time where I'll have an automated process that once you start it, it'll be ready to go. And then basically you'll just add the water now. What I recommend initially, it's hard to see on camera with the angle, sorry for it, but basically what I recommend is first just pour in circular motions, make sure that all the grounds are wet or moistened, and then I would stop at that time point, and then I'd wait about 35 to 40 seconds or so to allow the coffee to fully bloom. This releases the gases from it so that it kind of escapes prior to pouring more. And so we'll sit for about 45 seconds or so. All right, now that it's 45 seconds, what we're going to do is very similarly, just very carefully pour in circular motions until you kind of reach the top where you don't put too much where it's going to overflow at all, but you'll reach all the way to the top about that quantity there. So it's just below the lip of the pouring spigot or spout. And now what we'll do is we're going to sit here for what I usually recommend is actually 8 minutes. And so we'll let this run for 8 minutes like this. Okay, so we just hit 8 minutes. So now what you'll find is when you make French press coffee like this, you'll notice that a crust forms on the top where all the beans are on the top. So what I always recommend is just take a spoon like this, break that crust, and what you'll find is actually all the beans will actually naturally sink to the bottom. And so if you look here, there's a little bit of residual beans there, but there's nothing crazy. And so it'll sink to the bottom. And then what I recommend is letting it sit for an additional 2 minutes. And so we'll reset this and let it run for 2 additional minutes. So now it's been about 2 additional minutes or 10 minutes total. So we're all done brewing the coffee. And so that's all set. Now what I actually recommend is what you do is you take the plunger here. There's going to be a lip on the one end, which is the side that goes towards the actual spout. You'll very carefully just put this into the top, make sure that you don't overflow anything. And then what I recommend is a lot of people, they recommend pressing this all the way down. What I recommend is actually just press it about halfway down. That allows the coffee grounds to get down like on the bottom portion of this without completely like squishing them and squeezing out any extra like oils from the actual coffee. And so basically I push it down just so there's some coffee at the top, and then I'll pour it out and serve it that way. And so we'll just pour this out. And as you can tell here, the filter works extremely well. There's no coffee grinds or anything in this mixture here that I'm pouring out. And that's kind of the gist there. So now what we'll do is we'll just do a simple taste test, see how this performed. And it tastes really good. It tastes like a fresh, strong, very like smooth cup of French press coffee, which is really nice. I'm going to just add some frothed oat milk as well, just to do that. And then we'll taste test again, because that's how I usually drink it. And it tastes really, really good. So overall, first impressions with the Kaffe stainless steel coffee maker, I'll say that the design is very nice. I like the stainless steel aspect of it because it's got a nice like solid feel to it. I feel that with the stainless steel construction, it's going to retain a lot more heat. There is a double wall insulation here that allows it to keep the heat retained for much longer, which is an issue because if you do brew this and let it sit where you're not drinking like 4 cups at once, what I find is typically the heat gets lost, and then the additional cups, like if you have a second cup of coffee or serve one later on, it'll be cold and it won't be warm anymore. So that's a nice aspect of this. The plunger construction is really nice. The filter is really nice. The handle, it is plastic, but it works really well for this setup. And I really like the stainless steel look of this. And so I don't have any complaints about it. I like the spigot, the fact that it's very, very well rounded and like it got a lot of depth to it and ensures that you don't spill or anything like that. And at the price of about $35, it's very, very comparable to other ones on the market. And so I would definitely recommend this based on my experience. Feedback with brewing, I did measure it out at 675 grams of water. What I found was after I added the 56 grams of coffee grinds, it came out to like about 570 total grams in the container. So what you can do is actually drop that down to probably about 600 grams. And so you're looking at 600 divided by 12 for the quantity of coffee you would actually need for brewing this. But with the brew setup that I did, it came out really well. No complaints there. But this is the Kaffe stainless steel French press coffee maker. You can currently get it on Amazon for about $35. It's very good as far as construction build. It looks really good from that standpoint. And I've gotten or received other products from Kaffe and have been very, very impressed with them, both for their milk frother, as well as there was one other product that I reviewed. And all of them have worked out really well. So definitely check out this brand. It's a really good quality brand for what they make, and I think you'd be very happy with it. So thanks for watching and have a great day.